special guest here with me today, who is a freelance, British-based journalist and human rights activist. It's Amjad Taha Yassin. If those actions were actually committed here in the UK, they would have been come under those people who have started these kind of things. They would have been labeled as terrorists, because there is a lot of terrorism going on in these the protests. Now, these are not peaceful protests. These are very violent protests, as I discovered that many innocent lives have been lost as well. Why do they organize these kind of terrorizing protests in Bahrain?
Well, mainly those who are protesting, or those who are causing these riots in Bahrain, mainly they want an Islamic republic just like Iran, and they don't want an Islamic republic, but they want it exactly how Ayatollah is to be in Iran. And they also receive messages from the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, and he himself, the director, or what they see him as the director of the rioters and the protesters there. So these people mainly, they want something like Iran, in a state, a copy-paste of the Iranian state. They want another one, another Ahmadinejad in Bahrain, and not the freedom, the peaceful country that they have now.
In other words, they want to import Ayatollahism from Iran into Bahrain.
This place I visited in Sitra al-Qarya and Sitra al-Qarya, and then we moved to Krana, which is another village, and in both places I was stopped from filming. And I could see, and the reason for that, because I could see everyone carrying white weapons, such as white weapons with their faces covered. And a freedom fighter should not cover his face at all, unless you're a criminal. Thus, they were covering their faces, and I could see some Molotovs, fire bombs, knives, and other various dangerous weapons in their hands. It's clear from this clip that they do not want to be filmed. They do not want to be filmed. Right. And they want people not to be there. They don't want a journalist to attend there and see their crime and what they're committing. They don't want their crimes to be exposed. And the gangs, to be honest, they are gangs. The way they're doing it is gangs. It's a thugs gangs kind of construction. The gangs carry out their propaganda by orchestrating scenes in front of the media cameras. For example, they block the road. They block the roads. And what happens next? They set the fire and they use their weapons at the police. And the next stage is when the police defend themselves. They film the police and show the stage side of the story. These people are thugs and gangs, supported by some people such as Nabil Rajab and others, who call themselves a human rights activist. However, when I spoke to those thugs and gangs and those who are protesting riots, let's call it whatever you want, those people themselves, they say, we stage this thing, we stage it, we video it, we send it to our human rights spokesperson.
The next clip the viewers are watching, what is this clip about?
As we can see here, the Shia opposition party exploits children by using them at the planned protests, and it's planned protests. We're watching this part now, and the children aged, this child is aged 13 years old. Apart from being nearly run over by a car, is placed in a dangerous position late night, and he was given no knowledge about the event at all, and was just given a job as parking attendant for a member of the members of the Al-Wafaq party. Simply abuse of child labor. The children are used here Again, I'm questioning this person, why you attending here, your reason for attendance. He refused to know, and he doesn't know. He says, I don't know what I'm here for.
He's just being used, but he doesn't know the purpose, because he's been paid a few dollars just to attend this car
Exactly,
park,
about 20 dinars.
and risking his own life as well. A small child.
The children are used by the party and their radical parents to attend the planned event, and are seen as just numbers. And the children are brainwashed and have no proper knowledge of what they are part of. We're just going to continue looking at this, some clips.
Now, this is, if the human rights organizations actually watch this video clip, they will clearly say that this is a child labor and putting the children's lives at risk.
As you can see here, and one man that I asked, he said he makes $1,000 per day.
There is a lot of illegal trade in this carnival.
I mean, in this following clip, we'll see the carnival events that the radical groups claim to the media and the world as being revolutionary, kind of revolutionary protest or strikes. As you mentioned, it's like Notting Hill Carnival. As we saw, I myself saw an expensive cars that many are not even privileged to own in UK. Beds, as you can see in this video now, beds inside the tents, girls and boys dating each other, man and woman conducting what they call the temporary marriage as the muta.
So this all happens in this carnival.
In this strike. As my camera angle shows now here, the old member of the radical Shia parties are ordering children to block the roads and cause disruption. As you can see, there is no police at all.
So it's all children being used to block the roads, burning the tires, all those kind of things.
Yeah, and as you can see, there is no one blocking there is no police.
There's no police.
And there is nothing that makes you stop. I mean, why are you blocking the road? What's the main reason for you to block? And this is in Krana village in Bahrain. And they, as you can see, there is no police and nobody attacking them, but they themselves are provoking police action.
Obviously, this is
in Bahrain for nearly a month. And I attended all their events and all their protests and all their riots, to be honest. And I couldn't find one Christian or any person from other faiths as Muslim, Christianity, Buddhism, any. Well, it's very difficult. At this situation, the Bahraini people are left defenseless. They can't defend themselves, and the government trying their best not to use any action against those riots, just in case they commit any abuse against the human rights.
Okay, let's watch the next clip, viewers, and see the. Actually, we have Amjad here, who has taken a big risk. You had life-threatening messages as well from the Shias, these terrorist groups as well over there in Bahrain. Tell us a bit about that.
As we can see on this picture, this is a website for the Shia radical groups who are in Bahrain now, for the rioters. And here in this website it says in Arabic, break, if you see him, break his camera and break his wrist.
This is about you?
About myself, yes. And they say break his. And they said that I did not inform them who I was. However, this is on Al-Bilad newspaper, as you can see here. This is on Al-Bilad, and this is me here on the 29th of January. Al-Bilad newspaper, and Bahrain is a very small country, and Al-Bilad newspaper is well known in Bahrain, which means at least one of those people who were making those riots read what I had to say. And I was here speaking about Iranian agenda in Bahrain and how Iran himself, they abuse human rights. Ja'far himself, he's a Shia. He's the one who directing this. Wherever we go, he's holding the camera. Which means, again, I am not forcing them to speak, and they are the ones who are taking me to these places. Right. They themselves. Yeah, I visited many of their houses, and it was very clear that they passionately support Khamenei. And they saw him as their own spiritual leader, almost their God. whatever he orders, he gave, whatever orders he gave, or he gave, they applied it.
Goodbye. Thank you very much, Amjad. It was a pleasure to have you here.
يا رب هذا موطني وبه سأحيا ما بقى، وأظل أدفع عن بلادي ما يكيد له العدا. يا رب وفقني لسؤلي من سواك يجيبني. يا رب إن عشق الجميع بلادهم وبحبها كتبوا وغنوا، فأنا بلادي في داخلي تجري بلا